two really quick stories about my experiences with Cecil Peoples. Referee extraordinaire, cool dude, and a good friend, and holds his cool in the middle of a freaking riot.
Yeah.
You remember that time when the Thai nationals were having this event, right? And there's Thai fights going on, and this kid from the Jet Center, I don't remember his actual name, but his nickname was Poach, right? Well, he's fighting Sexon, right? And Sexon had to lose a bunch of weight that day, and he's freaking out because Sexon's thinking, "Oh my God, I lost so much weight, I'm so weak." What was that kid's name?
From the Jet Center, he was
from the Jet Center.
Not Angel. His name was. He
Right,
went on and became
it's on the tip of my tongue.
Well, anyway,
He went on and became like a minister or something.
yeah.
Did he?
So,
How about that?
yeah.
So, Sexon kicks this kid in the shins, right? And he falls down on his hands and knees. And Sexon kind of looks around and goes, wham, and kicks him in the face. And Cecil runs in there. That's it, disqualified. Fight's over. And next thing you know, chairs are flying in, people are flying in. There's a huge mayhem fight everywhere. And I'm there with my camera going click, 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 right? And then I'm pulling people off of people, and it was just crazy.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
That was a
Mr. Riot Causer.
that was a strange day.
It was a strange day.
I can't think of his name right now. Well, actually, what happened was he knocked Sexon down, and I think that was a big insult to Sexon, getting knocked down.
Oh, that's what
by
started
him.
it. I didn't see that part, I guess.
And then Sexon came back and knocked him down in the second round.
Yeah.
So they were fighting, and then the guy goes down, the Jet Center guy goes down, and while he's down, Sexton grabs him and kneed him in the face.
Oh, I thought it was a kick in the
No,
face.
he kneed him in the face.
It was this.
Yeah.
You were in the moment of it.
I was totally in the moment.
Yeah.
I thought it was
He
a
got-
kick to the face.
He got kneed in the face, and I wasn't. I was actually a judge that day. That was a different riot she was talking about. I've been in three of
the one in Anaheim.
yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's in Anaheim.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
I
was in
a
Anaheim.
judge.
The Thai nationals were there.
So they stopped the fight, and the referee, the commissioner, the executive, the chief inspector there, brought the people over, and then he said the fight's over. Well, the referee is from Thailand, so he can barely speak English. So he's saying fight, and the chief inspector saying stop, the fight's over. So they're saying fight, and he's saying stop. So everybody didn't know what to do. So finally, the inspector, the chief inspector, he goes in, he stops the fight. So they said the fight's over. Sexton is disqualified. So since Benny's brother gets the fighter, and it goes to Sexton corner to say actually his brother Reuben, bless his heart, he goes over there and said we'll set this fight up again at a different time. So while he's talking, Sexton's brother climbs up on the rope and punches Sensei Reuben in the face. And I don't know if you guys ever seen Lawrence Taylor,
I missed
the
all
football
that.
player,
What the hell?
tackle someone. Sensei Reuben runs into this guy, man, then and the whole melee started. People are punching, people are running in the ring. Peter Cunningham runs in the ring and says, stop. He goes like this, stop, everybody stop. And one Thai came by, well, bam, hit him in the back of the head with a chair.
I remember that.
And a big old cut came over his in his head. And people are swinging and punching. So I got up, and I'm trying to get to my wife and my stepdaughter. And it's like the movie The Blob. When the blob is coming, people are trying to run out of the theater, and other people are trying to run in,
That's
and
funny,
so
too.
I couldn't get to my wife,
I couldn't get to my group either.
Yeah.
There's a huge, because there was an orchestra pit.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get down
It was an
and get
orchestra
back up.
pit,
Yeah.
So what happened was, this is the ironic part. Sensei Benny, Bob Wall, not Ruben. Who was it? It was a bunch. Chuck Norris. There was a bunch of people. Don Nielsen, Don Wilson. They left 10 minutes before that thing started. So,
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, well, you
Chuck
guys had
Norris
left.
Fled.
Yeah.
I guess like they were going to go out to eat or
group
something.
got up
Yeah.
and said, "No, we're out." But you know, Chuck Norris did not leave beforehand. He left during. That's what I watched him leave. I watched him
Yeah,
get
well,
up. I'm sorry,
he has a-
shouldn't
He's
talk
smart,
about that.
man.
Smart boy, yeah.
He had a lot to do, but Don Nielsen and Don Wilson, they left right before the thing started. So I was getting up and trying to get to my wife, and I couldn't. And like she said, it was the orchestra pit. The orchestra is down below. So I see this guy in a blue jacket. We had to wear those ugly blue jackets at the time, if you were a judge or a ref. And I thought it was my buddy that was down there. So I ran over there, and it wasn't him. It was another guy getting beat up by like 6 or 7 ties. So I was like, God, dude, you're on your own, man. So as I turned to run to get out of there, a tie is coming with a chair over my head.
Yeah. Not
So
good.
I go like this and block the chair, but I had my pen that I was judging with in my hand. So when I went like this, I go like this, bop, right in his face with the pen. So he goes like this, and then I kicked him, and I'm trying to get out. And every time I get to move, somebody is fighting me, so I'm punching and kicking and punching and kicking. And one guy grabbed me by my knees, which is now a double leg takedown in MMA. And he grabbed me by my knees. So I took my pen, so I started stabbing him in the neck with my pen, and I still have that pen today.
Damn.
I start stabbing him with the pen, and I'm
do what you
stabbing him
gotta
with the
do,
pen,
man.
and then finally I get him away, and I need him, and then he grabbed me again, and then this one guy, he's gonna go flying through the air like Bruce Lee, he's flying through the air. So I'm holding on to this guy, and I'm leaning up against the stage, the ring, and I'm leaning up against the stage, and I was younger then, so I threw out a side kick, and if you watch the video, the guy goes like this. and so finally, the thing was, the promoter didn't have security. What they did was they hired, instead of hiring police or a real professional security company, they hired a bunch of high school football players.
Yeah.
So one of the football players grabbed me and said, "Get in the ring, get in the ring. Come in the ring." So I said, "I can't, he's holding my leg." So finally I pushed the guy away, and then I kneed him in the stomach, and the guy goes back like this, and then they pull me in the ring. And later on, the sheriff department came. And I'm talking, 6'6", big sheriff guys. And so they were trying to fight the sheriffs, and that was just impossible.
Yeah,
They just got slapped and
think
beat
I was there
and
long
slapped
enough for
and
that
beat
one.
and slapped and beat,
Yeah.
And so I finally get into the commission's office where the commission was. And who was in there? The guy I was stabbing in the neck. He was in there, and he was whining and crying, and then, so finally we leave, we get everything calmed down. The sheriff was arresting a whole bunch of people. So I walk out, and as I'm walking out, the tie says, "We're gonna get you, referee, we're gonna get you." That's why I don't carry a gun, because had I had a gun, I probably would have shot somebody that night.
Well, Cecil, over the years, basically, the first riot started in '75 when I fought the first Muay Thai fighter.
And
Honestly, I thought that was his
Yeah.
name.
no.
No, they said, "You want to
Yeah.
fight Muay Thai?" My oldest brother, Arnold said, "You want to fight Muay Thai?" I said, "I'll fight him." and
Who is he?
because,
Where's he from?
Muay Thai, where was that?
Yeah.
And, okay, so over the years, going back from that point to now, Cecil, you've seen from the beginning, you've seen each time.
Yeah.
What do you feel from each decade of full contact karate into kickboxing into the UFC? What do you see right now?
Well, every point karate, you won many championships. I was there in Colorado when you won the championship up there, the Rocky Mountain Karate Championship, and all the rest you won. And you should have won the one at the International, you and John Natividad. That fight set the standards for what point karate should look like. He and John Natividad. That was the greatest fight ever. And people still talk about it today. But after that, point karate was going nowhere. I mean, this guy won a world championship over in Pacoima, and he was a world champion. You know, some guy won a fight in Compton, so he was the world champion. And everybody's tournament was a world champion, so it was going nowhere. So full contact karate came along, full contact karate. So everybody wanted to try it. You know, everybody, I want to do it, full contact karate. I want to do it. You know, we got a pair of boxing gloves, and of course none of us knew how to box. You know, so so we started going down to gyms and trying to learn how to box, and probably not getting anywhere. You know, and so guys started getting knocked out right and left. Bam, 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 you know. They even had Jerry Quarry's brother fight this guy, Ralph Alegria. And the fight ended up in a draw, but Ralph easily won the first 3 rounds, and then the boxer won the next 3 rounds, you know. So it ended up a draw. But Ralph couldn't kick at that time. You couldn't kick his legs. You had to kick above the waist. Well, a boxer has his hand here, so it was useless. So then Muay Thai came along, and that set the standard. So Muay Thai came, and getting kicked in the leg, I mean, none of us was used to that. None of us were used to that. And so I'm refereeing the very first Muay Thai, not full contact karate, not kickboxing, but the very first Muay Thai. They had it at Hollywood High School.
Is that with elbows and knees?
Yeah, it was full contact.
Yeah,
full Muay Thai rules at that time.
Yeah.
So I get in the ring, and I see this skinny black kid walks in the ring, you know, and he's dancing and doing all this stuff, and I was like, oh my God, man, this kid gonna get killed. And I fight, ready, fight, pop. And boy, this guy, this is me refereeing him.
It's Petey, right?
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
it was Peter Cunningham.
Of course.
And Petey is kicking this guy, tearing this guy up, you know, tearing his legs up. And the thing about Peter had a high tolerance to pain. Most people don't have. So, like one time, Peter kicked a guy in the leg. Pow! He kicks a guy in the leg really hard, and the guy goes, oh, ow, 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 like this. And I started laughing. And I'm the referee, and his brother, boy, man, did he chew me out. He started yelling, not the commissioner now, him, his brother. You can't laugh, stop laughing. I go, yeah, but it's funny. You can't laugh, you know. So he chewed me out for that. And but I watched Peter Cunningham do his first fight. And, I mean, it was amazing. You know, I had never seen anyone with those kind of not flying kicks, but the kind of kicks he was doing. You know, and that's what and I refereed Peter many times. I'm good with the ties now, but one time I refereed a fight at the where you had the riot at that
That's
day.
right.
We had a fight down there at downtown, and Peter was fighting, and I'm refereeing, and one of the ties in the audience, he came. Peter was up against the rope, and he's doing this thing, and holding, and I'm saying to myself, why isn't Peter kicking this guy? Why? I don't understand. He's not using his legs at all, And finally, I looked down, and one of the guys that was in the first row got up and came and was holding Peter's leg. So, I mean, he's grabbing his leg. He's holding his leg.
What?
So I said, let him go. He said, F you, and I said, no, let him go. So I kicked him. I kicked the guy in the face. So he goes, we're going to get you, referee. We're going to get you. We're going to get you. We're going to get you. So the fight's over. Peter won the fight. And we go in the back. We get paid. And I was like, oh, man, I forgot about it. They're going to get me. So I get in my car, and I go around to right in the front of the arena to the place we were fighting. And sure enough, they're waiting.
Oh my Lord.
Must have been 20 of them, 30 of them, they're waiting. So I drive by there, and I let the window down. I go, hey! And they turn around, how did I got you? And they start running at me. and I give him the finger, and I take off. And I was thinking, good thing I didn't have a stick shift, where you go to take off and then
Yeah.
you don't shift gears right in the stall.
That
So I
would've
jumped
sucked.
and got on the freeway and went home.
So, it really, when it comes down to it, for all you viewers out there, truly, we're talking about, Cecil Peoples here, really, from the beginning, he has not only a lot of knowledge, but a lot of, it's almost, there are some people read something, some people look at certain things. I mean, he speaks from experience. He's talking from experience and how it all started and how confusing it was in the beginning because nobody really understood Muay Thai at the time. But as time went on, everybody, started to go into mixed martial arts and they started to do a little bit of everything. But you're talking about the beginning right now, and actually Kathy Long and Cecil People,
Yeah.
we're going back right from the start, right from the beginning where it all started from. And so because of that, you get a chance to actually hear truly, without nothing being hidden on top of me. I mean, underneath, this is the true stories and some fight in the beginning. And things change, things change with time and experience in it. And you start to really come to terms with it where your heart start to recognize, yes, we did do that, but that's not who we are. We did it only because we didn't know any better at the time. That's what it was. But as we got older and more experience in it, we start to really come to terms with the point where the art of war in third world countries, there is no rules, knowing coming here, but everybody's following what happens here in the United States, and so right now what we do and what everybody's looking at is truly experience. We're talking from experience, not what we've done. We are not our resume. We did that, but it's not who we are. What you see right now is who we are as people, and we get to a point where we get a chance to talk experience. So the judgment, just remember, the judgment is not what we've done. The judgment of, if you really want to know, you're looking at really beautiful hearts here. They're nothing like the stories, as we say, but that's really what it was. But you're really looking at truly humble, beautiful people, that and warriors that really have a knowing.
Let me tell you this right quick. Kickboxing, Muay Thai came on, and the Thais just rule. They just rule, man. I mean, Hector Pena got beat up by Coban one night, and he kicked him so bad, his leg so bad. I basically started crying after the fight. He beat him up so bad, and the Thais ruled the roost, man. I mean, they were just so. All of a sudden, the Gracies came, and that set the standard. I had a friend. He said